I never thought my 62 and birthday would be the night my own son helped his wife try to steal my life. Let me set the scene for you. It's a Friday night in May. We're at tavern on the green. Bianca said she wanted to do it right this year. The whole family's there. My son Darren, my two grandbabies, Bianca's parents who flew in from Connecticut, even my younger sister Lakeisha, who drove up from Philly. Candles are glowing. Wine is flowing. Everyone's laughing at some story Bianca's father is telling about their yacht club. I'm sitting at the head of the table in this emerald green dress I bought just for tonight, feeling God, I hate to say it. Now feeling loved. The waiter brings out this gorgeous chocolate cake. 62 candles. Can you believe it? Everyone starts singing. I close my eyes to make my wish.
That's when I hear it.
The sound of paper hitting the table. Not gently placed. Slammed. I open my eyes.
Bianca's standing over me, her perfectly manicured hand pressing down on a stack of documents. Her smile is gone.
In its place is something I've seen before, but always tried to ignore, that cold, calculated look she gets when she's closing a real estate deal. Shanice, she says loud enough that the singing dies in everyone's throats. We need to talk about your living situation. The restaurant noise fades. It's like someone turned down the volume on the whole world. Baby, not now, Darren starts, but Bianca cuts him off with a look that could freeze hell. Yes, now. We've been patient long enough. She taps the papers. These are the transfer documents for the Montauk House and the admission papers for Evergreen Senior Living in Westchester. It's a beautiful facility, Shanice. They have bingo on Tuesdays. I can't breathe. The Montauk House. My beach house. The one I bought in 1997 with the life insurance money after my husband died. The one where I raised Darren by myself while working double shifts at Mount Sinai. The one where my grandbabies take their first swim every summer. The one with his ashes scattered in the rose garden out back. Excuse me, my voice comes out smaller than I want it to. Bianca sits down in the empty chair beside me, Lakeisha's chair. My sister went to the ladies' room. She leans in close and I can smell her Chanel. No, 5. Look, I'm going to be straight with you because I respect you too much to sugarcoat this. She doesn't respect me. I can hear it in every syllable. You're getting older. That house is too much for you. 3 stories, all those stairs. What if you fall? What if something happens and you're all alone out there? I'm 62, not 92. And you're living in a $3.2 million property that's just sitting there, wasted. She says, wasted like it tastes bad. Darren and I have 2 kids who need space. We're bursting out of our apartment in Tribeca. Meanwhile, you're rattling around in 4 bedrooms by the ocean. I look at my son, my baby boy, the one I used to rock to sleep in that house while the waves crashed outside. The one who learned to ride a bike in that driveway. The one who brought Bianca home 6 years ago and told me, Ma, she's the one. He won't look at me. He's staring at his wine glass, like it holds the answers to the universe, his jaw clenched so tight I can see the muscle jumping. Darren, I say his name like a question. He finally meets my eyes. And I see it. He knew. He knew this was coming. Ma, just look at the paperwork. Bianca's right. It would be good for you to have people around. Medical staff on site. Activities. You'd make friends. I have friends. Do you? Bianca jumps back in. Because from what Darren tells me, you spend most nights alone in that big house, watching TV, eating dinner by yourself. So you want to lock me away so you can have my home. The words come out louder than I intend. People at nearby tables are starting to stare. It's not locking you away, Bianca hisses. God, you're so dramatic. It's about being practical. Being smart. The house will stay in the family. We're not asking you to sell it to strangers. And Evergreen is lovely. Top rated. They have a pool, a library, movie nights. I have a pool. I have an entire ocean. Bianca's smile turns sharp. Dangerous. Shanice, you had those things. But let's be honest about what's happening here. She leans back, crosses her arms. You're being selfish. You're holding on to a property you can't maintain, can't afford the upkeep on. I paid off that mortgage 15 years ago. And you're preventing your son, your only child, from giving his children the life they deserve. What kind of grandmother does that? The words hit like a slap. Around the table, Bianca's parents are nodding. Actually, nodding. Like I'm the unreasonable one. My grandbabies are confused, looking between the adults with worried little faces. And Darren is still staring at that damn wine glass.
So what? My voice is shaking now.
You want me to sign tonight at my birthday dinner? I'm not trying to ruin your birthday, Bianca says, but her eyes say different. I'm trying to secure your future. Our future. Sign the papers and we'll toast to new beginnings. You'll move to Evergreen next month, plenty of time to pack. We'll help you, of course. And the kids will visit you all the time. Won't you, babies? My 6-year-old grandson nods uncertainly. He doesn't understand what's happening. None of them do. Except me. And my sister Lakeisha, who's standing about 10 feet away, frozen on her way back from the bathroom. I catch her eye. She looks like she wants to flip this entire table. I look down at the papers. At my beach house, my home being casually signed away between the appetizers and the cake. I look at my son, who still can't meet my eyes. I look at Bianca, who's checking her watch, like this is just another closing deal. And I smile. It's not a happy smile. It's the smile my mommy used to give me when I was a child and thought I was getting away with something. The smile that said, baby, you just made a mistake you can't take back. You know what, Bianca, I say softly. You're absolutely right. She blinks, surprised. I am a mom. I am being selfish. Holding on to things. I push the papers back across the table. But I'm not signing these tonight. Her face hardens. Shanice, I need to think about it. Talk to my lawyer. You understand it's a big decision. The tension breaks. Bianca forces a smile. Of course. Take your time. A few days. Sure, I say. A few days. We finish the birthday dinner. We eat the cake. Everyone pretends everything is fine. But under the table, my hands are shaking with something that isn't fear. It's rage. Cold, quiet, and patient. Because my daughter-in-law just made the biggest mistake of her life. She thought she was taking my house. She has no idea what I'm about to take from her. The smell of salt water and rosemary always takes me back. I'm standing in my kitchen the morning after that disaster of a birthday dinner, staring out at the ocean, and suddenly I'm 20 years younger. Darren's 12. We're planting roses in the backyard, his father's roses, and my baby's hands are covered in dirt, and he's laughing because I accidentally sprayed us both with the hose. Ma, you're supposed to water the plants, he'd said, grinning that gap-toothed smile. God, when did I lose that boy? Let me tell you how I got this house, because Bianca's version, the one where I'm some lucky woman who stumbled into luxury, that's not the story. Not even close. My husband Marcus died when Darren was 7. Heart attack. 42 years old. 1 minute, he's coaching Little League. The next minute, I'm a widow with a second grader and $87 in our checking account. I worked 3 jobs that first year.
Breakfast shift at the diner on Amsterdam.
Afternoon doing medical billing at Mount Sinai. Nights cleaning offices in Midtown. I'd see Darren for maybe an hour between shifts, help him with homework, make sure he ate something more than cereal, then kiss his forehead while my sister stayed with him till I got home at 2 a.m. You know what 7-year-olds ask when their daddy dies, is he coming back, and you have to say no. Every single day for months, you have to say no. But we survived, more than survived. Darren got into Bronx science, made honor roll, got accepted to Syracuse. And I thought we made it. We actually made it. Then my brother Jerome got sick. Lung cancer. He was a contractor, built custom homes in the Hamptons for people with more money than sense. Never married, no kids. Just me and him left from our family. 3 weeks before he died, he called me to his hospital room at Sloan Kettering. Handed me a key. "Montauk," he said.
His voice was already going.
"Built it myself. For you and the boy. So you'd have somewhere beautiful. Somewhere that's yours." I tried to give it back. Told him to sell it, use the money for treatment. He grabbed my hand already, so thin, and said, "Shanice, you've been carrying everybody your whole life. Let me carry you for once." He died 2 days later. November 14, 2003. I scattered his ashes in that rose garden. Those are his roses Darren helped me plant. That house, it's not just property. It's every night shift I worked. Every birthday I spent alone, so Jerome could afford his tools. It's my husband's memory, and my brother's last act of love, and 20 years of mortgage payments I made on a nurse's salary. When Darren went to Syracuse, I let him stay there, summers. Rent free. "Focus on your studies," I told him. "Build your future." He'd bring friends out, have parties. I didn't mind. I was still working in the city most days anyway. What's a house for if not for family? Then he brought Bianca home. Spring of 2018. She walked through my front door in head-to-toe designer, looked around my living room, and said, "Oh, it's very rustic." Rustic. Like it was some shabby beach shack and not a custom-built home my brother poured his soul into. But I smiled. I wanted Darren to be happy. And he looked at her like she hung the moon. They got married that fall. Small wedding at a vineyard upstate. I paid for the rehearsal dinner, $6 I didn't really have. Bianca's parents covered the wedding itself, thank God, but they made sure everyone knew it. Her father's speech mentioned the word generosity 11 times. I counted. When Bianca got pregnant with their first, they were living in a cramped studio in Astoria. Darren's startup was hemorrhaging money. Bianca was stressed, morning sick, crying every time I called. "Come stay at the beach house," I said. "Get of the city. Fresh air will do you good." They stayed for 8 months. I drove out every weekend from my apartment in Washington Heights, 2.5 hours each way, to cook, to clean, to help Bianca with the baby when she came. My grandbaby, sweet little Zara. Bianca never said thank you. Not once. But she'd leave me lists, grocery lists, errand lists, things that needed fixing. Like I was staff. I told myself she was just overwhelmed. New mother. Hormones. Be patient, Shanice. When their startup finally got funded, they moved to Tribeca. 3-bedroom, 2-bath doorman building. I helped them move, spent a whole weekend unpacking boxes. Bianca ordered Thai food for the movers, but somehow forgot to order anything for me. Small thing. Stupid thing to remember. But I ate bodega chips for dinner that night and took the train home alone at midnight. Still, I kept showing up. Every birthday, every holiday, every time they needed a babysitter, because their regular nanny was sick. I showed up because that's what mothers do.
That's what family does.
Last Christmas, Darren called me, 2 days before. "Ma, can you take the kids? Bianca and I need to go to this networking thing in the Hamptons. It's important for the business." I'd planned to visit my friend Rosa in Florida. Had the tickets and everything. I canceled. Spent Christmas with my grandkids, watching Frozen for the 47th time, while my son drank champagne with investors 3 towns over from my own house. He texted me a picture. Him and Bianca on someone's yacht. Caption Merry Christmas from Paradise. I was feeding his children leftover ham in my tiny apartment. But I texted back a heart emoji. Because that's what you do. If you've ever given everything to someone who later turned away, you'll understand this part. I kept my heart open because I really believed that love was enough. That sacrifice mattered. That family meant something. Standing in my kitchen now looking at those roses, I finally understand what my brother was trying to tell me. Sometimes the people you love most will see your strength and mistake it for weakness. They'll see your open hands and think they can take whatever they want. But Jerome didn't build this house just to give me somewhere beautiful. He built it to give me somewhere safe. Somewhere that's mine. And I'm about to remind everyone, especially my daughter-in-law, that I'm Jerome's sister. We don't just build things. We protect them. 3 days after my birthday dinner, Darren shows up at my door with a man in a suit. "Ma, this is Richard Castellano," Darren says, not quite meeting my eyes. He's a family attorney. We thought it'd be helpful to have someone walk you through the paperwork. Explain everything properly. Richard Castellano has Bianca's eyes. Same cold blue. Same calculating smile. Her cousin, I say flatly. Second cousin Richard corrects like that, makes it better. He's already moving past me into my foyer, setting his briefcase on my dining table, the same table where I used to help Darren with his algebra homework. "Mrs. Williams, I understand this transition feels overwhelming, but I assure you everyone has your best interests at heart. Transition. Like I'm a business being acquired." They sit me down. Richard pulls out document after document. Transfer of deed. Power of attorney. Healthcare proxy. Admission forms for Evergreen Senior Living with my signature line highlighted in yellow. "It's really very straightforward," Richard says, clicking his pen. "You transfer the Montauk property to Darren and Bianca. They assume all maintenance costs and property taxes, which, let's be honest, are becoming unmanageable on a fixed income, and you move into a community where you'll have 24/7 care social activities, medical support." I don't need medical support. I'm 62. Of course. That smile again. But it's about planning ahead. Being responsible. You wouldn't want to become a burden on your family. The word burden lands like a punch. I look at Darren, my son, my baby boy who I used to carry on my shoulders through Central Park. "Is that what I am to you? A burden?" He shifts in his seat. "Ma, don't be dramatic. Nobody's saying that. We just want you safe and taken care of, so take care of me. Come visit. Call once in a while. Don't throw me in a home and steal my house." "We're not stealing," Darren starts, but Richard cuts him off with a hand gesture. "Mrs. Williams, I understand emotions are high.
Why don't we schedule another meeting, give you time to process?"
He slides a business card across the table. "But I do encourage you to move quickly. These facilities fill up fast, and we've secured you a lovely suite. If you delay, we may lose it." They leave. I sit at that table for an hour, staring at the papers. Burden. 2 days later, I drive out to Montauk. I need to see my house. Need to remind myself why I'm fighting. I pull into the driveway and freeze. There's a white van parked in front. C-A-S-T? A-L? My front door is wide open. I walk in. Bianca's voice echoes from the kitchen.
"So we're thinking all white marble countertops."
Gut the whole thing, make it modern. Open concept. The bones are good, but the decor is very $1,990. A man's voice responds. Full kitchen renovation. You're looking at $80K, maybe more with the appliances you want. That's fine. We'll recoup it when we sell. I step into the kitchen. Bianca's there with two contractors gesturing at my cabinets, my counters. She's holding a tablet showing them Pinterest boards.
She freezes when she sees me.
Shanice. Hi.
We weren't expecting you.
Clearly. My voice sounds strange, distant. What are you doing in my house? Our house, she corrects smoothly. I mean, it will be. We're just getting estimates. Planning ahead. You know how contractors are? You have to book them months in advance? I haven't signed anything. Yet. She dismisses the contractors with a smile. Give us a minute, guys. They shuffle out, leaving us alone. Bianca leans against the counter, Jerome's counter, the one he installed with his own hands. Shanice, let's not make this harder than it needs to be. You know, this is the right thing. Darren knows it. Even your sister knows it. You talked to Lakeisha. She's concerned about you. Rattling around in this big house all alone. It's not healthy. Liar. Lakeisha would never. But I don't say anything. I just watch her. She softens, her voice puts on what I call her dealing with difficult clients' face. Look, I know change is scary, but we're family. We're going to take such good care of this place. The kids will grow up here just like Darren did. Isn't that what you want, your grandchildren making memories here? What I want, I say slowly, is for you to get out of my house. Her mask slips. Just for a second. But I see at the flash of contempt the irritation that I'm not cooperating. Fine. She grabs her tablet. But you need to think about what you're doing. You're not just hurting yourself. You're hurting Darren. Your grandchildren. Is that really the legacy you want? She leaves. I stand in my kitchen shaking. That night, I can't sleep. I'm sitting in my Washington Heights apartment at 2 a.m., drinking chamomile tea that's gone cold when I remember my granddaughter Zara left her iPad here last week. I pick it up, meaning to charge it for when I see her next. The screen lights up. Voice memo app is open. Recording active. 47 minutes long. My finger hovers over the delete button. Then I press play. Bianca's voice fills my kitchen, not about the house itself. It's the value. We flip it fast. Take the 2, maybe 3 million profit, and we're set. Miami or Austin. Somewhere with no state income tax. Darren's voice. What about my mom? What about her? Shanice is clueless, Darren. She'll sign anything if we guilt her enough. Think of the grandchildren, think of your son. She's a people pleaser. Always has been. Silence. Then Darren, quieter, it feels wrong. Oh, grow up. Your mother has been guilting you your entire life. I sacrificed everything for you. I worked 3 jobs, poor me. Meanwhile, she's sitting on a multi-million-dollar asset doing nothing with it. That's not love, honey. That's manipulation. My teacup shatters on the floor. The recording continues. Once we get her into Evergreen, we sell fast. The place is depressing. She won't last long there. Year, maybe 2. Then it's done. Jesus, Bianca, what? I'm being realistic. She's old, Darren. Old people decline fast in those places. It's not cruel. It's just life. I sit on my kitchen floor surrounded by broken porcelain and I can't breathe. Won't last long there. My own son. My baby. Letting his wife talk about my death like it's inconvenient delay in their investment timeline. If you've ever trusted someone so deeply that their betrayal made you question your own worth, you're not alone. Thank you to everyone who helps me tell these stories.
Your support keeps this space alive for those who still believe that truth somehow will always find its way.
I sit in the dark for hours. When the sun comes up, I'm not shaking anymore. I'm not crying anymore. I'm perfectly, completely still. And I know exactly what I'm going to do. I stop answering the phone after the recording. Not because I'm angry, though God knows I am. But because I don't trust my voice anymore. Don't trust what might come out if I hear Darren say "Ma" one more time, like everything's normal. Like he didn't let his wife plan my erasure over brunch. The calls come anyway. Darren, Bianca, even Richard Castellano Esquire, leaving voicemails about time-sensitive documents and missed opportunities. I let them all go to voicemail. Delete them without listening. Lakeisha drives up from Philly on a Wednesday. Lets herself in with the spare key I gave her years ago. Finds me sitting at my kitchen table in the dark, staring at nothing. Shanice. She doesn't ask what's wrong. Just pulls up a chair. Sits with me in the silence for a long time. Finally, talk to me. I can't. The words are stuck somewhere between my chest and my throat, too big and sharp to come out. So I just shake my head. She stays for 3 days. Cooks food I don't eat. Answers the door when Darren shows up. I hear her tell him I'm not feeling well. Maybe give me some space. I hear him leave without arguing. Without insisting. Without fighting for me at all. That's when I know it's real. When Lakeisha finally goes home, she hugs me so tight I can barely breathe. You call me, she whispers, day or night. You hear me? I nod. But we both know I won't. I start driving out to Montauk at night. Not during the day when neighbors might see. Not when the sun makes everything look hopeful and possible. I go at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., when the world is as empty as I feel. I sit on the back porch, Jerome's porch, the one he built with the view angled perfectly to catch the sunrise, and I listen to the waves. They sound different at night. Lonelier. Like they're searching for something they lost. I understand that feeling. The house feels different too. Like it knows. Like it's waiting for me to pack up and leave to prove Bianca right, that I don't deserve it, that I can't handle it, that I'm just a burden taking up space. One night, I walk through every room, touching the walls. Jerome built the floors, he laid the windows he installed. In Darren's old bedroom, there's still a growth chart marked in pencil on the doorframe. 3 feet. 4 feet. 5, 6. The last mark says college bound with a star. I trace it with my finger and something breaks open in my chest. I slide down the wall and sit on the floor of my son's childhood bedroom, and I finally cry. Not the angry tears or the shocked tears. The tired ones. The ones that come from somewhere so deep you didn't know you had that much grief in you. I cry until I'm empty. Mrs. Lang catches me leaving one morning at dawn. She's my neighbor 2 houses down, a tiny Korean woman who's lived here longer than I have. She's in her garden, always in her garden, wearing those floral gloves and a wide-brimmed hat, even though the sun's barely up. Shanice. She waves me over. You okay, honey? The question is simple. The answer isn't. I start to say yes, the automatic response, the polite deflection. But something about her face, about the genuine concern in her eyes, about the fact that she's asking when my own son, won't it crack something in me? I think my family is trying to erase me, I whisper. She sets down her pruning shears, takes off her gloves, comes to stand right in front of me. Then don't let them. 4 words. That's all. But they land like an anchor. She squeezes my hand and goes back to her roses, and I drive back to the city with those words echoing in my head. Don't let them. I start packing a suitcase. Not because I've decided to go to Evergreen. but because some part of me, some exhausted, beaten down part, thinks maybe they're right. Maybe I am too old for this house. Too alone. Too much of a burden. I fold sweaters I've had for 20 years. Pack photos of Darren as a baby, as a boy, as a man. Stand in front of my closet trying to figure out what you take with you when your whole life gets condensed into an assisted living suite. The house is so quiet I can hear my own heartbeat. I eat dinner alone. The same thing every night: rotisserie chicken from the grocery store, green beans from a can. I don't taste any of it. Just go through the motions because bodies need fuel even when hearts don't want to beat anymore. I sleep alone when I sleep at all. Mostly I lie awake, counting the cracks in my ceiling, listening to sirens, to neighbors fighting, to the city breathing around me while I hold my breath, waiting for what I don't know. If you've ever sat in a room so quiet it started to echo your thoughts, you'll understand this silence. Thank you to those who help keep these stories alive. Your kindness helps give voice to people who've been forgotten, who sit alone in their pain, waiting to be seen again. On the 7th day, I'm sitting at my kitchen table, the same spot where I heard that recording, when something shifts. I'm not sure what triggers it. Maybe it's exhaustion. Maybe it's survival instinct. Maybe it's just that I've cried all the tears my body can produce and now there's something else underneath. Not hope exactly, but not surrender either. I look at the half-packed suitcase in the corner, at the legal papers Richard left that I still haven't signed, at my phone with 17 missed calls, and I think about Jerome, about how he built that house with his own hands, how he made me promise to let him carry me for once. I think about Marcus, about how he'd feel knowing I raised our son alone just to watch him try to throw me away. I think about 20 years of night shifts and double mortgages and sacrifices so quiet nobody even noticed I was making them. And something hardens in my chest. Not anger. Not yet. Just clarity. I'm 62 years old. I've survived widowhood, poverty, grief, and loneliness. I've raised a man, buried my brother, built a life from nothing. And I'm supposed to believe I can't handle a beach house. The silence isn't armor anymore. It's a clearing, a space where something new can begin. I pick up my phone, but I don't call Darren. I call someone else. The person I call is my accountant, Gloria. She's the one who helped me refinance the Montauk house back in 2015. Sharp woman. Doesn't miss anything.
When I tell her what's happening, the pressure, the papers, the nursing home, she goes quiet for a long time.
Then she says, "Shanice, you need to check your county property records. Right now." Why? Because if they're moving this fast, they might already be trying things behind your back. Legal things.
My blood runs cold.
I'm at the Suffolk County Clerk's office when they open at 9 a.m. The next morning, the woman behind the counter, her name tag says, Diane, pulls up my property file. Scrolls. Stops. Scrolls again. Her face changes. "Ma'am, are you aware that someone attempted to file a deed transfer request on this property 3 weeks ago?" The room tilts. What it was rejected, the notarization didn't match our records. But there's also... She clicks through more screens. There's a medical concern form filed by a Darren Williams claiming you're experiencing cognitive decline and may need conservatorship evaluation. I can't breathe. And a request from a real estate agent, Sotheby's International, for lockbox access to the property for prospective buyers. Buyers. My voice doesn't sound like mine. I never listed my house. Diane looks at me with something like pity. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Williams. But according to this, someone's been very busy trying to access your property. You might want to speak with an attorney. A real one." I drive home in a fog. My hands are shaking so hard I have to pull over twice. They weren't just pressuring me to sign. They were doing it anyway.
When I get home, I find Bianca's Gucci tote in my back seat.
She must have left it last week when I drove her and the kids to the beach. I'm about to call her when something stops me. I open it. Inside her planner, her phone charger, her sunglasses, and a manila folder. My hands are shaking as I open it. The first document is a power of attorney form, naming Bianca as my legal representative with full financial control. There is a signature line for me. It's blank, but there's a post-it note stuck to it in Bianca's handwriting, "Get notarized by Richard. He won't ask questions." The second document is a home equity loan application for $400 zero against the Montauk house. My name is already filled in. My social security number. My bank account information. The third is a receipt from Evergreen Senior Living. Reservation deposit $15 zero. Non-refundable. My vision blurs. They already paid to put me away. I'm sitting there drowning in paper proof of my own erasure when my phone buzzes. Unknown number. The text says, "Check the county property records. They've been accessing your files." I stare at it. Text back, "Who is this?" 3 dots appear. Then someone who thinks what they're doing is wrong. Be careful, Mrs. Williams. If you've ever found truth in the quiet moments after pain, you know what this part feels like. Thank you to everyone who supports these stories. Your kindness keeps hope alive for people still finding their voice after betrayal. I sit in my apartment as the sun sets, surrounded by evidence of a conspiracy so calculated it takes my breath away. They didn't just want my house. They wanted to erase me. Legally, financially, mentally. They wanted me declared incompetent, locked away, and forgotten while they cashed in on my brother's legacy. But they made one mistake. They thought I was weak because I was kind. They thought I was stupid because I was trusting. They thought silence meant surrender. I pick up my phone, not to call Darren, not to call Bianca. I call my lawyer, a real one, not Richard Castellano Esquire's second cousin and co-conspirator. I call Marcus's old college roommate, James Chen, top estate attorney in Manhattan, the one I should have called weeks ago. When he answers, my voice is steady, clear, cold as the truth I'm about to speak. "James, it's Shanice Williams. I need your help, and I need you to help me move fast." What's going on? I look at the documents spread across my table, at the texts, at the evidence of my own son trying to have me declared incompetent. I'm about to show my family exactly what happens when you underestimate a woman who survived everything they can't even imagine. I'm listening, and for the first time in weeks, I smile. Not a happy smile. A dangerous one. "Good," I whisper. "Because you wanted to fight, fine. But it won't be the one you expect." There comes a point when silence stops meaning defeat. It becomes preparation.
James Chen's office is on the 47th floor of a building in Midtown with views that stretch all the way to the Hudson.
Floor-to-ceiling windows. Leather chairs. The kind of place that whispers power in every polished surface. I sit across from him in a navy dress I haven't worn in years, my hands folded in my lap, and I watch him read through every document I brought. The forged power of attorney. The loan application with my forged information. The medical concern form claiming cognitive decline. The recording of Bianca's voice saying, "I won't last long." He reads in silence for 20 minutes. When he finally looks up, his eyes are different. Colder. "Shanice," he says quietly, "this is elder financial abuse. Attempted fraud. Coercion, under duress. Filing false medical claims." He taps the papers. They didn't just cross a line. They demolished it. "Can we stop them? Stop them?" He leans back, and for the first time since I walked in, he smiles. "Shanice, we're going to do more than stop them. We're going to make sure they never try this again. Not to you. Not to anyone. For years, I mistook generosity for love. Now I'm learning the quiet math of self-respect. We work for 3 hours. James takes notes, makes calls, drafts documents. By the time I leave, I have a plan. And it's beautiful in its simplicity.
Step 1 happens that afternoon.
James files an emergency restraining order preventing any property transfer, financial transaction, or legal filing related to my assets without court approval. By 5 p.m., it's stamped and registered. The beach house is locked down, legally untouchable. Step 2 happens the next morning. I sit in James's conference room with an estate planner named Patricia, who speaks in the calm, measured tones of someone who's seen everything. "Who do you want as beneficiaries?" she asks. I don't hesitate. My granddaughter Zara gets an educational trust, managed independently, accessible only for tuition books, housing. She can't touch the principal until she's 30. Patricia nods, typing, and the remainder, the Montauk House, goes to the Long Island Land Alliance. My brother supported them for years. They protect coastal properties from development. It becomes a nature preserve, permanent conservation easement. No one can sell it. No one can flip it. No one can profit from it. And your son, I look out the window at the city, sprawling below, at all those tiny lives moving through their days unaware that mine is quietly catching fire and rising from the ashes. Nothing, I say. He gets nothing. Patricia's pen doesn't pause. Done. The new will is drafted, notarized, and filed by end of business. Step 3 happens over the course of a week, and it's the most satisfying. I call my bank, the one where I've been a customer for 30 years. I explain the situation to a manager named Denise, who listens with increasing alarm. "Mrs. Williams, I'm so sorry this happened. Let's lock everything down." She closes my old accounts, opens new ones Darren never knew existed, removes him as authorized user on everything, freezes the credit cards he's been using, the ones I gave him for emergencies that somehow funded Bianca's Gucci collection. I call every utility, every subscription, every auto payment. Cancel. 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 Each keystroke is a knife cutting through chains. I change the locks on the Montauk House, install a security system, add cameras. I don't tell anyone. I just do it. And then I wait. The calls start 3 days later. First, it's Darren. "Mom, my card got declined. Is everything okay?" I don't answer. Then it's a voicemail from Bianca. "Shanice, we need to talk. There seems to be some kind of banking error. Call me back." I delete it without listening to the end. Then it's Richard Castellano. "Mrs. Williams, I'm calling regarding some concerning legal filings that have come to my attention. We should discuss this immediately." I block his number. The phone rings 17 times in one afternoon. Text messages pile up. Voicemails multiply. I sit at my kitchen table, drinking coffee, real coffee, the expensive kind I never bought because it's wasteful, and I watch my phone light up over and over. And I smile. It's funny how silence can sound like thunder when guilt starts to echo. That night, James calls. They know something's changed. Bianca's cousin, the lawyer, tried to file an emergency motion claiming you're mentally incompetent and he needs temporary conservatorship. My stomach drops.